The next topic um, in the syllabus, here we see Boston Consulting Group BCG matrix. To measure the performance of an organization, here in this equation, there are two variables taken to measure the performance and categorize the organization. The two variables, one variable which is horizontally present, we call it as market share. There's another variable on the vertical axis, which is market growth. So here, taking these two variables into consideration, BCG matrix categorizes them into 4 different categories. The variable that is there on the horizontal axis is market share. What does it mean by market share? So market share indicates at present how many customers were they able to attract, and how many of them are their customers, basically the business units or the firm's customers. The market share, it also talks about if they have already captured the market, if some of the customers are there with them. It talks about the present performance, which is on the higher side and on the lower side. So on the left side, we see it is high, on the right side, it is low. Vertical variable is market growth. So market growth indicates the possibility of them to grow in the future. So market growth, we see whether it is high or low. On the top, it is high, and the bottom, it is low, which means that if investment is made into the firm because the market has a possibility to grow, there is possibility for market growth. As the market grows, the firms in that market, the firms that belong to that industry, that market, also will have a chance to grow. So that will require maybe some additional investment is needed to be made. So some amount is invested, and along with the market, they would also have a possibility to grow. So that scope, whether it is there or not, is what we are looking at. So if there is scope to grow, it is on the higher side, it is on the lower side. Market share talks about the present performance. Market growth talks about the scope to do well in the future. Fine. In this categorization, if the market share is high, if the market growth is high, both of them, if we see they are high on the higher side, see those firms are called as stars. Let's say the market share is not high, which means that they were not very successful in capturing the market. The customer base is very low. They haven't achieved anything remarkable until now, but they still have a scope to do well in the future. So the chances of they doing well in the future is there. We can see that possibility is there to do well in the future. Maybe they take care of the additional investment, etc. It is possible for them to grow along with the growth in the market. So such entities, such firms, or such business units are categorized as problem child. Third category is, see, until now the performance is very good, it's on the higher side, but there is no chance for them to do well in the future. Market growth is low. Why would the market growth be low? What is the situation? See, maybe they must have reached that saturation point. As they grow, they must have come till that maturity in the introduction, growth and then maturity. So as they touch the maturity or when they are saturated at that point, there is no further scope for them to grow. So that growth part of it, the chance to grow is low. They must have already touched the saturation point. Then what next follows is decline. So in that situation, there is no chance for them to grow when there is no future scope, but at present they can generate cash flows because they have already captured the market. They have good customer base with them. Many customers are their regular customers. Therefore, as of now, they can generate cash flows. So such a entity is called as cash flow. Someone who's not achieved anything now, market share is low, then we also see that there is no scope for them to do well in the future as well. Market growth is also low. If that is the situation, the market share is low, market growth is also low, then we call them as dogs. Now, what is with dogs? Generally, if the if they fall into the category of dogs, dogs are abandoned. So for a business unit also, they would just shut down their business. So there is no scope. As of now, they have not achieved anything. So then in that case, um, they do not have sufficient amount of cash flow generated. That's one thing. They cannot also do well in the future because chance is not there. Market would not grow, so the farm also will not grow. So then they are categorized as dogs. So it is to understand, see what based on their present performance and the chance for them to do well in the future, they can be categorized into any of these four categories. And then take appropriate measures if at all, if there is any improvements which can be made, if there is any special focus can be given to this particular aspect. So let's do one case study. Yesterday we've done one case study on benchmarking. Now we'll do one case study on BCG matrix. So from the examination kit, there is a question on the screen, ENT Entertainment. This is about BCG matrix. The questions are about perform an analysis of ENT business in terms of relative market share and market growth. Then using your answer and the resulting BCG analysis, evaluate the company's performance. Again, BCG analysis, BCG. So exclusive one question on BCG analysis. Let's take it up and then see how We can ask this one. E&T Entertainment Company. E&T Entertainment Company is a large diversified entertainment business based in Thailand. The company's objective is the maximization of shareholder wealth for its family owners. It has 4 divisions: restaurants, cafes, bars, and dance clubs. Recently, E&T's board have identified that there are problems in managing such a diversified company. They have employed consultants who have recommended that they should perform a Boston Consulting Group analysis to understand whether they have the right mix of businesses. The Chief Executive Officer has questioned whether using this analysis is helpful in managing the group's performance. A business analyst has prepared information on each division in the table below. So we see revenue is given. Revenue is given for the actual years 10, 11, and forecasted years for 12 and 13. We see revenue of the restaurants. Under restaurant category, there are 4 units. That's what we have seen in the previous slide. There are 4 units, 4 divisions of the company, E&T Entertainment. One is restaurant, cafes, bars, and dance clubs. So under restaurant category, how much revenue did E&T earn? How much revenue did the entire restaurant market has earned? Similarly, we have cafes, then we have bars, then we have dance clubs. In Thailand, the economy is generally growing at about 2% per annum. The restaurant, cafe, and bar sectors are all highly fragmented with many small operators. Consequently, a market share of more than 3% is considered large, as that is comparable to the share of the largest operators in each sector. There are fewer small late night dance club operators, and the market leader currently holds a 15% market share. There have not been many new developments within the divisions, except that a new wine bar format launched by the bar divisions, which has surprised the board by its success. Each of the divisions' performance is measured by economic value added. The divisional managers have a remuneration package that is made up in 2 equal parts by a salary set according to industry norms and a bonus element which is based on achieving the cost budget numbers set by the company board. The chairman of the board has been examining the consistency of the overall objective of the business, the divisional performance measure, and the remuneration packages at divisional level. He has experienced the worry that these are not properly aligned and that this might lead to dysfunctional behavior by the digital management. So let's take this question, the entire question, to Excel file, and then from there, let's answer this particular question. Shall we start? So this is the content. The first bit, it says that perform an analysis of EMT's business in terms of a relative market share and market growth. Relative market share and market growth is what we have to calculate. So the two variables are, we have market share and market growth. But the question is asking us to find out the relative market share. The term here which is asked is relative market share. There, what is there in the matrix? The term is just market share. What does it mean by a relative market share? The relative is basically on a comparative note. Comparatively speaking, what is the market share? So, but then with what should we compare? From the table, from the details what we have, let's look into that. If we are to find out what is relative market share, is there anything like yesterday we had that benchmarking? So something like that, a standard, a benchmark, a leader, or something like that, with which we can compare. See, the content initially we have what is the company, where how many divisions are there, what type of business is it? It is owned by families, and profit maximization is the objective. Apart from that, there's mention about 4 different types of uh, businesses carried on by ENT. After that, we see that in T-land, the economy is generally growing at about 2% per annum. So there is something about growth. The economy is growing at 2%. The restaurant, cafe, and bar sectors are all highly fragmented, small operators. Then it says that consequently, a market share of more than 3% is considered large, as that is comparable to the share of the largest operators in each sector. If at all, if there is a market share, the calculated market share is 3%, it is considered as large. So the standard set here is about 3%. 3% market share, if they can capture, it is considered as good. So relative is first to do the calculation for what is market share, and then come and compare that with this 3%. Then it would be relative market share. So this is for the restaurants, cafe and bar sectors. Then we have one more fourth unit, which is night dance club. So there are fewer small late night dance club operators, and the market leader currently holds a 15% market share. So for the dance club, the calculation should be compared with 15%. So that is how we would be doing about the market share. So let's start with first calculation of market share. We are asked to calculate both relative market share and market growth. So both of them we have to do. So let's start with first calculation of see how many divisions are there. We see that we have restaurants, cafes, we have for the years 2010, then 2011, 2012, and then 2013. How to calculate the market share? See, as of now, the only variable which is given to us is revenue. So revenue is that is generated by the revenue that is generated by ENT and the total revenue generated by market share. The market share is 100%. Revenue generated by ENT is what percentage? So that is what basically we have to do. The data is down. I'll just dragging it and then we can again put it up. Yeah. Here, if this is 100%, 54 is what percentage? So here it would go like this. I hope you know. If this stands at, or I'm writing it here, if this stands at 100%, then we see 54 is what percent? So it would be 54 into 100 by 10,700. Similarly, for all the other three also, let's do it. I hope the logic is clear. This is just the market share. What we have done is only about the market share. Then this has to be compared with the market leaders. Then only it would be a relative market share. So after we calculate the market share, we will have to calculate what is a relative market share. So now this has to be compared with the market leader. For the first three, the market leader some unit is considered to have done well if it can capture a market share of 3%. The last one, it is 15%. Basically, what do we do? Here, on looking at the figures only, we can tell. See, they are supposed to uh, capture 3% market share, wherein they were able to capture only 0.5%. The next cafes, it is 1.01. Bars, it is 3.50. By looking at that itself, we can talk about it, but then it's always better that we do the calculation. If 3% is 100%, or 3% is 1, in terms of decimal, 0.5% is what? So here we can basically do it as so we see that where it should be 100%, it is only 16%, 33%. So that is how we can measure the performance in terms of capturing the customers. Next, so this is relative market share. We also have to calculate market growth. How to measure the growth? The base year is 2010. This is about how the market is growing. It's not about how ENT is. From 2010, it has increased, or there is some change in the data in 2011. So 10,752 to 10,860. Then 10,860 962, 10,968. Then 968 to 968. So how to calculate the logic? If this is 100%, the difference is from 10,752 if it has increased to 10,860. So there's some change. Sometimes it's increasing, sometimes it's not increasing. So whatever is that change is what percentage. That is how this has to be calculated. You can check how we are doing the calculation in the formula bar. You can just look into that. If 10,752 is 100%, the difference. So that is the growth that happens in 2011. We cannot write anything in 2010 since we do not have data for 2009. So for the first year, it will be just blank. What is the change? The change is 10,860 minus 10,752 divided by 10,752. The next year, since we see there is no change, 10,960, 10,960, we can mention this 0% change. For cafes, it would be 3348 minus 3072 divided by 3072. So the other two divisions also, let's do it in a similar manner. If you have done, you can give me the data. I'll fill the columns. So here it would be 9784. 9784 minus 9984 divided by 9984. Then we have it as 9491 9784 We are asked to see the first bit says that performance and analysis of ENT's business in terms of relative market share and market growth. So the calculation, though, this the logic is the same, but because there are 4 years and then four divisions, it was time consuming. But then we can do it quickly. There's no difficulty part of it. It's only the mathematical part that has 6 marks there. You can see that on the here in the requirements, the first bit, the first question has 6 marks. Next one. Using your answer to A and the resulting BCG analysis, evaluate the company's performance. So what are we supposed to do? So we have to evaluate the performance. So how each of these 4 divisions are doing. So this is based on BCG analysis. So what does BCG analysis talks about? It talks about categorize these 4, whatever are the business units into any of those 4 categories. What are the 4 categories? We see that the 4 categories are star, problem child, cash cow, dog. So the combinations are both are high, star, market share low and growth is high, problem child. Share is high but growth is low, cash cow. Both of them are low, is dog. So now we need to categorize these 4 of them. Two variables. One variable is we have relative market share. Then we have market growth. The we're focusing on the market, relative market share. The first restaurants. I hope you are able to follow. Any difficulty in understanding? Please let me know. Are you finding it easy to understand, follow? Any problem from anybody? Is there anyone facing a difficulty in understanding this part? Please open up because we are writing the analysis now. Anybody in the class finding it difficult or if it is okay, just write okay or yes or something. If there is a difficulty, you let me know. No response at all. Nobody is there in the class. I see 28 students are there in the class. Yes, no, also you don't want to say. All those who are connected with audio only, I will be giving attendance. So you can also inform your friends that those who are just logged in, no attendance will be given to them. There's no point in teaching like this. we see that the market share should have been 100%, but here it is very low, 16, 17, 18%. So the relative market share, now we have to mention whether it is low or high. So for restaurants, it is low. Coming to cafes, cafes also is low. It should have been 100%, but this is just low. Next, we see bars. Bars should have been 100. For bars, what it should have been 100 is more than 100. So it's under the category of high. Dance clubs. The dance clubs, though they are not very, very poor, they seem to be okay, but they are definitely not up to 100%. On that note, this also will be categorized as low. About the market growth. So if we talk about the market growth for the see, the economy is growing at a rate of 2%. That's what is mentioned. In tea land, the economy is generally growing at about 2% per annum. So if it is growing at 2% per annum, the firms, the divisions also should grow at the rate of 2%. If they are not growing at the rate of 2%, there is a problem. So now for restaurants, it is only 1%, and there is no growth percentage in 2013. So this one is also on the lower side. Cafes have grown at 8%, 11%, 9%. So this is high. Bars, we see a negative growth. So it's low. Then dance clubs also 6%, 9%. So this is on the higher side, high. Let's categorize them. If both of them are low, what do we call it? You have to give me the answer now. If both of them are low, what do we call it? Anyone there in the class who's following the question, just tell me that. Anyone, just say yes, ma'am, following. Yes. At least in the chat box. Hang on. So if the market share is low, market growth is low, what is this called as? If cafe, the market share is low, but market growth is high. Market share is low, market growth is high, is called as a problem child. So bars, market share is high, but market growth is low. Let's see this. Market share is high, market growth is low. It's called as a cash cow. Then market share is low, market growth is high, is called as a problem child. B bit says using your analysis to A and the resulting BCG analysis, evaluate the company's performance. So we have evaluated the performance based on BCG analysis and categorized them into those 4 categories. C says critically evaluate this BCG analysis as a performance management system at ENT. Critically evaluate. So we need to criticize it. Any point of criticism which can find? Any point of criticism? See, we are evaluating based on only one variable, which is revenue. The only variable which is considered is revenue. Based on revenue, we have calculated the market share. How many customers do they have? What is the percentage of the total sales made by the market? Out of which, what percentage of revenue did they earn? So market share is one variable, and whether they can make similar type of sales in future, or is there any growth or anything. So everything was revolving around only one variable called as revenue. Revenue alone is not sufficient to decide about the performance of the organization. So they should have also mentioned about what was the cost incurred, what's the profit margin. We don't have any other information regarding ENT entertainment. There is only one variable, which is revenue, taken into consideration. So that is not a complete evaluation. It is kind of biased, considering only revenue. What else should be there? Maybe they should have included some amount of cost. They should have calculated what is the profit margin. Apart from that, see how much investment was made into the into each of these divisions. If the investment made is low, revenue also will be earned on a lower note. But if the investment is high, the amount of revenue generated also can increase. So that was those details about what is ROI, that is investment is not there, so we cannot calculate what is ROI. Whether they were efficient or not can be understood about from asset turnover ratios. We don't have the details about investment assets, etc. That how quickly are they able to generate revenue? Those details are also not there. So this particular set of information about revenue, the share of revenue made by the divisions of ENT versus the total revenue made by the entire market. So the comparison is only on that note. Then we need to criticize about it. See, it is not holistic in nature. We critically evaluate the BCG analysis as a performance management system at ENT.
கொடுத்தாச்சுடா. இதுல எப்படி இருக்கு? கம்ப்யூட்டர் ஆல்ட் போறாங்க. இதுல ஏன் இப்படி இருக்கு? எல்லா
Anything else? Anything strikes your mind? The other factors also are important. Some of the businesses, though they earn very less revenue also, their customers are loyal to them. They keep coming back again and again. So maybe they do not emphasize more on earning more profit, but if they can satisfy the customers, or their working principles are very good, etc. Things like that. So if that is the case, they can be considered as successful. So non-financial issues are not considered. This is in general, but then certain other things also we have to talk, because it's critical evaluation of BCG math. There are four categories. One is dog, one is problem child, cash cow, and the other one here in this particular question, the other one also falls into the category of problem child. See, dogs, what should be done with dogs? Then we have to talk about dogs have to be abandoned. So when dogs have to be abandoned, before we write the critical evaluation, we should also have a mention about what is the scenario with restaurants. So restaurants fall under the category of dog. So dog should be abandoned. Therefore, they have to think about withdrawing the investment from restaurants. Then problem child, there is possibility for them to grow. Therefore, the firm should be ready with investing into cafes and dance clubs because they are problem childs. They can grow in future. Therefore, investment should be made into cafes and dance clubs. Bars is a category of cash cow. Cash cow. So cash cow doesn't have any scope for the future. Until now, they have done well. Therefore, the cash flows are generated. So it's categorized as cash cow. If when we are talking about cash cow has no future, we cannot say that. See that has uh, the next thing what will happen is it will decline. If there is a life cycle, the normal thing is it starts from introduction, growth, goes to maturity, and then decline. See, when it is at the saturation point, at the maturity, because of technology, because of certain innovative ideas, what seems to have come to that level wherein it will just fall down, maybe because of innovation, from here it can again rise up. So we cannot generalize that. See, all those which fall under cash cows, they should next think about divestment, withdraw their funds before it touches the decline, etc. So not a necessary. So we are calling it as dog. Something, I mean, instead of shutting it down, maybe because of this technological advancements or repositioning the business, the dog also can be revived. We cannot generalize it and say that they have to be shut down. So we see certain criticism associated with the BCG analysis. Then we have DBIT. Evaluate the divisional manager's remuneration package in the light of divisional performance system and your BCG analysis. So there is one issue with the last paragraph. Each of the division's performance is measured by economic value added. The divisional managers have a remuneration package that is made up in two equal parts by a salary set according to industry norms and a bonus element which is based on achieving the cost budget. See, this is a completely different scenario. Let's take it up. What is that scenario? So the divisional managers have a remuneration package that is made up of two equal parts. If one part two equal parts by a salary set according to industry norms and a bonus element. So there is a fixed which is already set. So fixed salary portion. Then we see that another one is a variable, that is bonus. Bonus based on their performance. The performance is connected to and bonus element which is based on achieving the cost budget numbers set by the board. So if at all if they achieve the cost um, budget or cost standards are met, they are able to economize on the cost. See, cost budget comparison will always talk about uh, saving on the cost, cutting down on the cost. So if they are able to do that, then they are evaluated as showing good performance. Then only bonus can be earned. See, when there are two components, fixed component, variable component, the chairman of the board has been examining the consistency of the overall objective of the business, the divisional performance measure, and the remuneration packages at divisional level. He has expressed the worry that these are not properly aligned, and this might lead to dysfunctional behavior by the divisional management. When can they earn their variable salary? Only when they meet the cost budget. So as a manager, what will the manager want to do? He wants to cut down on the cost. He wants to ensure that they meet the cost budget. They are able to save on the cost. Then he has expressed that this might lead to dysfunctional behavior. What is that? Basically, if we look into this issue, managers want to earn full salary, the fixed salary, the variable, that is bonus also they want. When can they earn bonus? When they are efficient in terms of cutting down on the cost budget. But when we have categorized these units, two of them are problem child. Problem child have scope for growing. If they want to grow along with the growth in market, they should put in additional investment. So out of the 4 units, 2 units require additional investment. But on the other hand, according to cost budget, they cannot keep on spending money, but they should focus on saving money. So that's contradicting in nature. Two of the units require investment to be made in those units. Okay, but the overall objective is that if they are able to make investment, then only they can enjoy the growth. So that's contradicting in nature. Okay, so managers would want to earn bonus. So that's contradicting in nature. Managers who in pursuit of earning their bonus or commission, they may not be spending as much as they should be spending on the problem child units. See, on one hand, they have to save cost. On the other hand, to grow, they have to invest amounts. So that's contradicting in nature. So that can result in dysfunctional behavior. Evaluate the digital manager's remuneration package